eat it.
They don't care. And they don't even speak to you. They don't even, because, you would think they would sit you down and say, listen, we want to let you know you have to hold on tight. Everything will be exposed like this. They don't even
That's not true. They do tell you that. They do. And actually when
they do, like they sat you down and said, are you ready for?
Down, but they give you, they tell you like your life is going to change. There'll be times when you're at the top and then at the bottom. You may get, there's times when people go down the rabbit hole and, with social media, they give you a therapist to talk to call if you need. This is evolution, at least. I don't know about the other franchises.
Yeah.
They give you a therapist to talk to if you're feeling depressed or anxiety, whatever the case may be. I don't know that anyone ever called that person and said, I need to talk. I don't know. But yeah, and truthfully, because the more you spiral and the nuttier you get, the better it is for them.
Well, I mean, power to them for even saying this, because like I understand like your life is going to change, hold on, we're so excited, but they let you know the negative too, like you might go down a rabbit hole, people might hate you, they let you know all this.
They said that. Yeah, they did. The therapist, you talk to the therapist, and the therapist like literally says like, this is how it is, this is the normal range of emotions. If you need to talk to someone, I'm here. And
when does the therapist talk? Like after you get hired, right before you get hired? Or they're like,
as soon as, gosh, this was a while ago, but I feel like it was like once they called and said, we want you to do this. And, we want to, and in this, my season was already shooting. So they were like, we feel really bad. We got to rush through this process. But, we need to get everything signed and on the dotted line and get this all done. So the sooner we can get you in. And I remember I had like the phone call from the therapist offering the services if I needed to talk to someone like once. And I was like, I'm good, but thanks a lot. I consider myself a strong person with, a good self-conscience but yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, and maybe that's just an evolution thing. Maybe the other franchises don't do that. I don't know. But I would think that Bravo would encourage that, that now at least put on at the end of the episodes, that little, thing about eating disorders and which, you and I have talked about, depression and drug use and alcoholism and all this. I think they should do those things. Yeah. Honestly, that to me is like one of the biggest, whenever anyone says anything to me about it, if they ask me, what I thought or whatever. And I always say, I don't think it's a great message for younger people. I feel like too many girls, and it's not just the Housewife franchise. I think it's a lot of the shows, what's being put on, social media and our televisions and what we're showing the younger kids as something to emulate, I think is bad.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree. Anything else to cover? Did we cover everything? I mean, I feel like
there was so much more that we didn't even talk about, but it just honestly, all in all, I don't think it was a very exciting season. I felt like it was just a lot of like really like nitpicking, bitching, nagging, just ugliness that made me uncomfortable to watch.
Like, don't you feel, and maybe this is just me in other seasons, I was so like, I feel, I mean, there's just me, like, do you feel like this was the most toxic season ever?
Yeah, I do. 100%. I feel like it was so toxic. Like, it was just like, they were like, vampires just looking for someone like hyenas to jump on and just, I didn't like it. I felt like it was really nasty. And I felt like that when I watched Rinna go after Denise. I felt like that, like, oh, how ugly, how nasty, just really not a good look. And I feel like that again.
I felt like that. I felt like Denise was a deer in headlights, and really you could see in that final scene, Rinna knew what she was doing the whole time. And it was literally like taking candy from a baby. It was like Denise is like in the moment, being authentic, like realizing in that scene, like, Oh, sorry, Denise, this is the last scene. Like you should have, and I don't blame her because good for her, but it was like, this isn't even a fair fight because Denise is just like herself. And it's like, girl, you are in the majors. Like this woman's gonna eat you alive.
And she was just so blown away that this person who she considered a friend was doing her so dirty.
As would anybody. That's where it's like leading the lamb to the slaughter or whatever that saying is.
Yeah.
But I agree, for some reason, to me, this felt like the most toxic season. I don't know why. From the fans, the comments, everybody involved, the production, I just really felt that it was toxic, more so and like hateful than any other season. Even Yolanda, who was truly sick, going through this, her children, I think Bella has Lyme disease too, or
Yep.
even that was so, but this just felt, I can't explain it. Just overall, like I don't know if it's the world has changed after COVID, people are it feels so toxic to me this season.
I hate to say it, but I really agree with you. And I feel like it's kind of like, that's kind of how things are. Like everyone's just looking to pounce. It's like hyenas, like vultures, like just, someone's injured, they're gimping, like go in for the kill, take them down when they don't have their strength. And it's just like, and yeah, it was really not a good look. Not a good look at all. It doesn't, all of the the beautiful makeup and the clothes and the bags and the trips and the cars and the houses and the fashion, it just looks like really freaking miserable people, like Stepford wives living in, these glass houses that are just miserable. And that for me is a shame. That
I agree.
But I guess, I don't know. If that's what people want to watch, okay.
I agree. And I also agree you can't have it both ways. It's the same thing with Rinna. Like, if you look at all the fan comments, they say, I want to go back to the good old days to when, like, people were fighting over this and Vanderpump. Okay, well, guess what? If you really think it got so toxic and so dark and so sinister and so evil, whatever word you want to use, then you shouldn't watch next season. And maybe that literally, you will either save your breath or don't watch, because if you watch and you're angry, Bravo does not give a fuck. You could show up there with a telegram screaming every word you can. No one's listening. Well,
it's really funny because I didn't even think about it. Today I was like, oh my gosh, I got to watch part 2. And to me, it's the perfect example of where it didn't even register to me. Like I knew that you and I were talking, but it didn't even register that I hadn't even watched it. And when you're really into something, you don't forget.